I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Jonny Smith.
And this is Smith & Sniff, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars and many other things live in London.
Well,
thanks, everyone.
Well, I never. Welcome. Welcome to the room. What's the official name of this room again?
I don't know, the Lord Terrington Buffy Tufty Club or something. Room.
It's the Royal Artillery Club.
Honourable Artillery Company. Company.
Shit, I said it wrong completely.
We got one of the words right.
Look, there's muskets screwed to the wall and a couple of highly polished breastplates.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
It's a magnificent room, magnificent venue here at the London Concours, which we haven't really fully enjoyed yet.
No, tragically.
But I did see the Porsche 959 and the Ferrari 288 GTO, which are quite near where this room is.
Oof. And
12-year-old me had a bit of a light-headed moment because they're just fantastic. So I almost don't need to see anything else.
My eye got stolen by the Bugatti that's in that same little array.
Oh,
is it the EB110?
And it's a super spout as well.
It is a super spout, and I'm sure that's how it's referred to by the Bugatti
by
Club.
People in Italian or French, for that matter.
Absolutely. You know that's how the French say sport.
The French for sport is sport.
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 It's got a nasal little...
I don't know what. Does anyone know what the Italian for sport is? Sport, is it? Okay.
Yeah, but they wouldn't say it like that. Come on. They'd go,
I love the idea that Italians would be going, oh, yeah, you know what, this weekend we're going to meet up with some friends, we go watch some sport.
Well, so for the purposes of the listeners who aren't in the room tonight, and thanks to all the people who are actually in the room tonight and have come to the London Concours, we've got like a bit of a balcony behind us with some pretend plants. I stole two of them and put them on stage, and I will put them back exactly as I found them.
Will you?
I will. And describe what you're sitting in, Rich, for the purposes of those who aren't watching in the room.
Has anyone ever seen any of the Emmanuel films? Now, imagine the lead character do something a bit mucky with a bloke. This is the kind of chair she would have for that business.
It's got quite a flared back end, hasn't it?
They're big. They're for people at home. They're very tall-backed, and they are a towering tribute to the wicker industry. Very much a forgotten business. When you know, in the news at the moment, fisheries and steel and things like that. But I think maybe the British wicker industry is quietly sitting there going, our time will come. I mean, admittedly, their time was 1976 and they haven't ever really recovered. But these chairs live on as a monument to those brave men and women of wicker.
I love wicker furniture.
It's so noisy, though.
It's very noisy. You can feel its torsional rigidity.
Oh, so yes, it's
even when you're breathing.
I feel like I'm in a 1984 Escort Cabrio of a chair. There is so much. I've got scuttle shake from a chair.
I can see it
It's
down
going,
there.
Isn't it? It's flexing.
Yeah. I'm surprised it hasn't been employed on a concept car. Or if it has, it's passed me by.
Those lovely little Fiat 500 Jollies, those beach cars. Has anyone seen these? You know, from the 50s and
60s.
They are usually fitted with wicker seats because then, if you're wearing a wet swimming costume or something after a day on the beach, it doesn't ruin your upholstery or pucker your leather. So they're quite clever. Not very comfortable and noisy, but at least you can wear a wet swimsuit.
I would worry about wicker-based sort of chairs if you've been to the beach, because I think it's the sort of thing, if you rub it the wrong way, it might spear your skin. What do you think? I don't entirely trust wicker is what I'm sort of saying.
Well, because this is the other thing about wicker. Also, I don't know why, but Wicker furniture now, or rattan?
Rattan.
Is it rattan?
Is it Rattan or Rattan?
I think it could be either.
He runs Tata.
Yes. Well, he's no longer with us.
Right. He ran Tata.
Rattan Tata ran Tata.
Yes, that's true.
I feel like I'm doing the rhythm track from a samba record.
It's actually true, though, isn't it?
But rattan furniture or wicker furniture, for some reason, exclusively used in conservatories.
Oh, yes, I was about to say. And nothing said more aspirational to me as a child in the 80s. If I went to someone's house and they had a large conservatory with those almost dished, like a staggered deep dish set of wicker bucket seats, I think they are.
Yeah, but with a sort of palm motif on the cushion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And punctuated with an actual tree, a palm tree of some sort.
Yes.
And my friend Luke, whose parents were cool, had an actual palm tree and a huge pot in their conservatory with those bucket seat things, wicker things.
The problem for me with wicker and rattan furniture is that there was always, inevitably, and there's one here, there's a little picky bit on the arm.
Yes, it's like having a nephus.
You just pick at it, you're picking at it and you're picking at it. But if it's your chair and you're picking at it and you're picking at it, and you come down one day and your chair has turned into an enormous pencil shaving because it's all unravelled, and that's no good.
No.
That doesn't happen with a Parker Knoll recliner.
No. Do you know what? Sitting in one of those aspirational 80s conservatories, and we will stop talking about wicker chairs in a second. But it's just reminded me, it was the first time I ever heard the album Graceland off of Paul Simon.
A very wicker album.
Do you think so? It's a very linen jacket album.
It's a linen jacket, but linen jackets and wicker furniture, I feel like they go together because it's got a very sort of Miami vibe to it.
Yeah. And also the briefest of tennis shorts, even when you've got no idea how to play tennis and you've got no intention of playing tennis, but the Saab 900's outside and the tennis shorts are on.
And the Saab 900.
Oh, gosh.
It's almost in a whiteness competition with the shorts and the shoes. The Dunlop Green Flash.
Oh, gosh.
What is the whitest thing you own? Well, at the moment it's my Saab because I've just had it washed.
Yeah.
And I'm including the alloys in this because, my goodness, they're white.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm going to drive down to South Beach in Miami, listening to Graceland, and then I'm going to sit in a wicker chair and do some cocaine.
I'm listening to Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes and I'm absolutely off my bonds.
Yeah.
Because I've been a naughty man. I've done well at work and I've done some powder on the way to the beach in my scuttle shaky Saab.
Oh, because it's a cabrio, isn't it?
By the way, you shouldn't do any of this. This is just a mere serving suggestion.
But then if you live that life...
Yeah?
And then you suddenly manage to get off the cocaine...
Yes.
You suddenly realise that everything you own has no structural integrity. Your Saab, your wicker chairs, your linen jacket, nothing you own is stiff. Including if you're doing a lot of cocaine. You know what?
I hadn't even thought of it like that.
I renounce stiffness. It's the 80s. I want everything to be white and floppy. Including you know what.
That's brilliant. I was just thinking Paul Simon could have had a hidden track on there called Scuttle Shake, and it would have been amazing, wouldn't it? So, we were going to talk about something other than wicker chairs. I'm pretty sure.
Is this time for me to make my big announcement?
Oh. Richard has got...
I'm moving to Miami.
Not the Range
There's going to be some changes to my lifestyle. No, but actually it is something white.
It is white.
I've bought a car.
Yeah. Another one.
Another one.
In the words
DJ
of DJ Khaled. He's just a relentless car-buying, breathing pork pie.
I think maybe...
Not you, DJ Khaled.
Well, I have got a sort of jelly-like layer between me and my clothes. I think wanting to keep buying cars is a bit of a disease, but it's kind of like COVID. Sometimes you don't know you've got it and you can live your life and it's fine. Jonny obviously has it to a terrible degree and there's no vaccinations going to stop him buying cars. But I feel like I've always got away with controlling the urges.
Yeah.
And this year, I just can't stop browsing and sometimes buying cars. So I bought my Honda Beat a few months ago. And then...
Choice purchase.
Yeah. bloody loving my beat, by the way. I don't want to curse it, so touch Wicker, it's fine. But I went the other night to go and see the lovely guys from the Top Dead Centre YouTube channel who have the Cream podcast you may have heard, Edwin and Will, because Edwin has a Honda Beat, so we're Beat buddies. I didn't say this to him because I thought it sounded weird, but now I've just said it to you, and he might hear this. No, okay, let's move on. But
hit that perfect beat, boy. Did you sing that together?
Do you know what we did, though, which is really, I mean, I'm not going to apologise because I thought it was really cool. I had a massive smile on my face. We left the place where they record and do all their YouTube videos and stuff. And I took the cross-country route there, but I just kind of needed to get home. It was sunset. It was a beautiful sunny evening last Monday. And Edwin said, and he's in his beat as well, we've both got the roofs down. He said, I'm going back to the motorway, I'm going back to the M4. And I was like, screw it, I'll get the M4 home as well, it'll be fine. And so we did a convoy across countryside, beat on beat action.
Oh, yeah.
It was
there Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone playing faintly in the background?
It was basically two quite tall men in two very, very small cars zooming across the countryside, and I could not have been happier. It was fucking brilliant. And I can't remember why I'm bringing this up. Oh, yeah, so I bought the Beat. I'm loving the Beat. I had a lovely drive home in the Beat. Even on the M4, that car is a plucky little warrior of a thing, and it sat there at 70 miles an hour. And I was thinking, oh, God, I hope I'm not going to break it. But no, it was absolutely fine. And then they closed the road that goes to where I live, so I had to take a massive detour, and I rang the little neck of that thing, and it didn't miss a beat. No pun intended. And so I've got my Beat. I love my Beat. I don't need to buy another car.
No.
However,
swollen paws.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think it was about 2. Yeah.
Jonny video called me from the scene of a barn find.
Drum roll, please. Lovely.
Knowing full well he was throwing raw meat into the water. As some of you know, if you listen to the podcast, I am genuinely, and I've actually just emailed someone about this, going to get the British Leyland logo tattooed on my arm.
That was arm.
Okay, so you know...
Although it would be quite fun there.
But you know there's something wrong with me. So Jonny showed me this car, and he showed me how clean this car was.
It is an extremely clean example of the mark.
But I would go one further. It is, for various reasons, quite a find another car.
Yeah. It is.
And so when Jonny said, look, the people who technically own this car need to sell it, and they will be selling it after my barn find video airs. But if you would like me to introduce you to them, if you're really interested, I can do that.
Take us to your dealer.
Yes.
Was how that went.
Some negotiations took place, and a price was agreed, which I think was firm but fair.
I think it was firm but fair. A week of negotiation, would you say?
It was a few days of back and forth on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
With a very, very nice guy. And he was a very reasonable man, and I was, willing to, meet him in the middle, because I really wanted this car, and I have bought this car. And tomorrow, in fact, I'm going to go and pick it up.
Sir Ranulph Fiennes, just for reference, is really fucked off. Because he didn't find this one, and I don't think he would find a finer example.
I don't think so either.
Original, unrestored example of the mark.
With the provenance.
With the provenance.
Which just reaches into my chest and tickles my heart with joy, because it is a 1984 MG Metro Turbo.
Oh. It's a round of applause.
I love you guys.
Spoiler alert, there's a barn find episode coming out on the Late Break Show.
Now, originally the barn find was going to go out on Sunday, wasn't it? And this show would go out on the Monday, but unfortunately there's been a bit of a snafu, so you'll see the barn find video in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, like a couple of weeks. But, if it had gone out the way we were intending for it to go out, then that would be professional and streamlined. And that's just not the way these things work.
You'd have almost been disappointed.
Yeah, you would have.
They haven't found a way to fuck this up. How's that possible? I've heard their show. So yeah, I've bought a Metro Turbo, pre-facelift, with the little LED boost gauge in the instruments.
Oh boy, can I tell you that this is a survivor. 36,000 miles from new. And it is deceased spec. It is. It's not been on the road since 1991. And when I opened the garage door, that we went through the internal door first, through the house, and I was like, "It looks like someone's cleaned it." And he went, "No, this is how we found it." The man that owned it was a very reclusive character, and as such treated the car like it was royalty. It's spooky, really, and amassed a lot of new old stock boxes with the logo that you're going to have tattooed onto your dongle.
Well, that's my next tattoo.
Yeah.
The Unipart logo.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All the metalers and rockers have got that.
Come and see me in a year. I'm going to have like the whole, I'm going to have like a Riley on my upper arm.
Yeah.
Wolseley on my back.
Wolseley. You can have a back piece of Wolseley.
But I would go, probably next would be the Austin Rover slashes and then Unipart.
Yeah.
And actually, the turbo graphic down the side of, and I'm going to say this again, my Metro Turbo, is brilliant. Like see-through lettering, but slightly overlapping. It's incredibly 80s.
Yeah.
And I haven't actually seen this car. I'm going to see it tomorrow when it's picked up by a guy with a truck, because I'm going to have it taken somewhere to get it all sort of fettled and made good to use on the road. But so I'm going on trust. This could be the biggest prank ever. It could, in fact, be some bran flakes in the shape of a Metro.
No, I'm willing to put my neck on the line here and say that it's very, very good. The carpets are so red. So red.
So are the seatbelts.
Oh. Never thought I'd reach a point in my career where we were sort of like doing foreplay chat with one another about a pre-facelift Metro. Oh, gosh. What a pair of tragedies in Wicker furniture.
My wife and I went out for dinner and I went, I need to talk to you about something. And her face fell. But I could see her sort of mentally spooling through. Affair, murder. No, he's probably just bought another car. And she went, go on. And I said, I think I'm going to buy another car. And she's like, okay, go on then, what is it? And I went, well, you probably won't have heard of it. It's an MG Metro Turbo. And she went, great. I think I'm going to have the fish. And that was it. She honestly is just like, this is your business. You do this. And we'd ordered, and then she went, go on then, show me a picture of this car. So I showed her a picture, and she just went, okay. Probably going to get another glass of wine, actually, because I just, and that was, yeah, she's really not engaged with it until this morning. And I said, I'm going to London to do the show. And she's like, yeah, I know. And I went, but then tomorrow I've got to go early because I've got to go and see this car that I've bought. And she just went, I don't really know how to interpret that.
It's a sexy car, actually, I think.
I think it's, I mean, I'm not going to say cool, but it's definitely retro now. I mean, it's super retro. And I think the pre-facelift Metro is more of a retro Metro than Rattan Tartar's, the man who ran Tartar would agree the facelift Metro is. So I like that.
You've just mentioned the word business sitting in a wicker chair, and it's thrown up a couple of images for me. First of all, you've said it wrong.
Oh, sorry.
Secondly, when I stole these didn't steal them, when I borrowed these wicker chairs from up there on the balcony, where I also found a cutout of a man trumpeting or tromboning, I don't know what. And I thought, you know what, I found it in that cupboard. I thought, bollocks, I'm going to bring that one out. I had images when I looked at these sort of wicker thrones of like, I know who would have owned these. Wendon Zambo. And he's not been mentioned for a long, long time on this cast.
Disreputable South African expat.
Yeah.
Now hiding in Cambridgeshire.
Absolutely hiding.
For reasons we can't work out.
But he had fingers in a lot of pies, did Wendon's. And I'm pretty sure he might have exported Wicker. But within the crates, there might have been things other than wicker.
Emeralds.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Conflict stones.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think this is totally stolen from Wendon Zambo. And when we used to do the podcast when it was a video, so pre-podcast, we did a couple of videos driving through Wendon Zambo, which seems like 100 years ago now.
Yeah.
But we had a guy come up to us at this London Concours and said, I live in the village next to Wendon Zambo. Just can't stop doing an impression of a crooked South African every time I go through the village.
But then did he not tell us that Wendon Zambo has a cricket team and it's captained by a South African?
Yes, that's true.
Are we saying too much?
So now he's like, I don't know how much of what you say is made up or whether there's some facts. I can assure you there's no facts.
Business untrust.
Business
now, we're actually talking... Sorry, since we're on the subject of names, a few weeks ago on the podcast, we had a listener called Alistair who'd written to us. Sorry, not Alistair at all. I'm reading the wrong bit. It was a listener called Adrian, was asking for possible car-related names for the baby that his partner was about to have. In fact, I think he said in June, so the baby may have been born by now. And he said that if it was a girl, he somehow persuaded his partner they could call it Elise, and he'd not sort of let on that that's a car. But he was struggling for boys' names, and we came up with a few suggestions. We had lots of messages from listeners about this, and people sort of particularly pointed out we forgot Austin and Morris as two names. Other suggestions we had Dodge.
That's good.
Could be a boy's name.
That's good, yeah.
Holden.
Oh.
Enzo and Dino.
Yes.
Quite a few people said Trevor, as in TVR.
But spelt TVR just to throw people off
or
the
do
scent.
it uppercase. The T and the V and the R uppercase, and the like. If you can muck around with typography like Prince, why not? Victor, someone suggested as well.
Vauxhall.
Well, that's the thing, because I thought Vauxhall, which is not as cool. I think they meant Aston Martin. But either's good. I was looking around at different other sort of car-related names, and this led me to discover that, I don't know if you know that for years, starting in, I think, the 19th century, in France, you could only name your child from an approved list of names.
What?
They wanted to keep preserve the Frenchness of their names. So there was an approved list. I mean, I think originally it was introduced because it was sort of biblical and traditional names, but that was dropped in the 90s. But if you give your kid in France a very unusual name, it will be flagged by the people who process birth certificates, and they can refer it to the courts, and the courts can tell you to change the name if they think it's something that's too ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
And this goes on to this day. So names that they've rejected include Nutella, that beautiful French name, and someone wanted to call their, I don't know, son or daughter Fraise, which is the French for strawberry.
Oh, yes, it is.
And that got knocked back. But in 2015, a couple were called to court and told they could not use the name they wanted for their child. I don't know if this was a boy or a girl, because the name they wanted was Prince William.
Really?
And I don't know if the French court were like, you cannot call him that because there is already one of those, and they were trying to protect Prince William, or if they just realised it's a stupid name. So they said, no, you cannot call your child Prince William. Go away and think of another name. And so they did, and they filled in the birth certificate, and they got summoned back to court.
What?
And the court went, no. Once again, you are not calling your child that. And the name they had come up with, having been rejected for Prince William, was Mini Cooper.
No way.
And the French court went, no. And I don't know what the child was then called. I don't know, Opel Monza or something. But
brilliant.
Mini Cooper was knocked back. So I was looking into this, and there are quite a few countries that either have approved lists of names or have some process whereby they will try and stop people giving their kids names that they feel may, affect them in later life. And there are certain things. In the US, it's pretty much carte blanche. But in certain states, Arizona being one of them, there is actually a character limit on names.
A character limit?
Yeah, so if you tried to call your son like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Gogglebox, they'd go, no, stop being silly. Call him Steve.
Chad.
Yeah, Chad. So in New Zealand, and this is car relevant,
Okay.
you cannot call your son or daughter princess.
Okay.
Princess.
Princess.
Anyone from New Zealand in here? No. But I think it's princess?
Yeah,
princess.
Would be.
Crown, you can't call them crown. So Toyota enthusiasts cruelly denied.
Oh, wow.
And if you absolutely love hideously ugly, small Nissan crossovers, you cannot in New Zealand call your child Duke, spelt Juke. But we had a message from a listener in Australia called Stuart Bailey. And Stuart pointed out that Australia also has a banned list of names. In fact, this was just published. The updated list was published just earlier this year.
Don't tell me Holden's off the list.
Holden?
Because I'm warming to that more and more.
Holden's a good name. Now, Holden is not on the banned list, but Commodore is.
Is it?
Yeah, you cannot legally call your child Commodore in Australia, but Falcon is not on the list.
What?
So the Australian authorities are being biased against GM.
They are.
The
They're
old
Ford
GM Ford
protectionists.
battle, the government has very covertly taken a side here because Ford and Falcon are not on the Aussie banned list.
That's amazing. Commodore.
Also, Princess is also banned in Australia. You can't call your son or daughter Princess. But other banned names in Australia, their official list, include Facebook.
Sorry.
Facebook.
You would never call somebody Facebook.
I would have not thought so either, but yeah, apparently
What?
they've had to take the step of banning it. IKEA. IKEA, get in here, your dinner's ready. That's just ridiculous. You will never hear in downtown Melbourne. iMac, also not allowed in Australia.
This has gone very odd all of a sudden.
Also banned are bonghead, dickhead, and shithead as names for your newborn child.
Did you just say bong?
Bonghead.
Okay.
I mean, that's a very sweet name for a little girl, isn't it? Bonghead.
So lovely.
And this is our youngest, shithead. Is sadly something else you'll never hear in, I don't know, Alice Springs.
Amazing. Well, that was in line.
I just thought I'd share that. I'm sorry, it's not totally correlated, but yeah, I did think the bias against Commodore. It's weird. I've got the whole list here. There is a definite bias against sort of military titles because Brigadier is on the banned list as well.
Banned?
Brigadier is banned. Bishop is banned as well. It's not just military, ecclesiastical titles. Professor. You're not allowed to call. So if you went, oh yeah, I'm going to call my kids Professor. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, what's your oldest called? Professor. Because I suppose it feels like passing off.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. I'm Professor Wilson. Oh, thank goodness you're here, Professor. We have a difficult conundrum needs solving. No, mate, I'll sell scrap metal.
He's one of those professional gamers that just plays Fortnite for 500 grand a time.
I've noticed that Nutella is also on the Aussie banned list, as is Passport. Can I see your passport? Yeah, he's just here.
So strange.
Constable, that's on there as well.
Constable? Well,
Doctor. Is there a doctor on the plane? Yep. Once again, remind you, I sell scrap metal.
unbelievable.
There's 89 names on this list. Terrorist is on there. Why you'd go, I'm going to call our kid terrorist.
Okay, on that note, I've been watching Narcos recently because it came out in 2017, so I'm just getting around to it. And I'm enjoying it. Obviously quite glad that I, didn't live in Medellin in the 90s. It's not that funny. I'm just pretty glad that I didn't. But do you know the one thing that fascinated me about? I haven't finished watching it, so don't spoil the ending for me. The thing that's really fascinated me consistently throughout has been Pablo Escobar's clothing choices.
Yes.
So amazing. Anybody? Can you remember the kind of gear that... I say gear. The kind of clothing Escobar rocked? He loved a cable knit jumper.
Yes.
Absolutely loved ones. And ones with embroidered anchors on the front. Amazing.
It is like everything he was wearing was given to him by a well-meaning relative. Have people watched Narcos? Yeah.
Everyone in the world has, apart from me, which is why I'm watching it now.
Because also, did you find, though, there are a lot of scenes, it's like... I mean, I think the casting was good because Pablo Escobar sort of did seem to look like that. But quite often, particularly he was wearing a big, chunky, woolly pulley.
Incredibly.
But he looked like a sad teddy bear.
Yes.
And he was one of the world's biggest gangsters, basically.
A feared drug baron.
Hang on, let me check my Aussie list. Pablo Escobar, is that on the list?
No, you can call him that.
No, Osama bin Laden's on the list.
Is it? Great.
And Adolf Hitler.
Of course.
Genuinely, they're on the list. As if... And so is Dalai Lama. Which...
This is the list that keeps on giving, isn't it? Goodness gracious
anyway,
me.
Sorry, well, we'll put that away. But,
So I think... So Pablo looked very much like a CNA catalogue every time I watched the episodes of it. And then I looked at it and went, if you just saw Pablo just walking down the street, say he was at the London Concours, he's just out there right now, just walking up and down a line of a couple of sweet cars, you'd go, I bet he bought a Volvo 940 new. And I bet he's still got it. And he's really careful with it.
Really careful with it.
Yeah, but he saves his money. He's got enough money to buy a couple of those motors, but he just doesn't. He's got a jumper on which has a very convoluted nautical knot on it. It's true. One of the episodes had a really delicate knot on the front of his sweatshirt.
Is that not the secret, or so television has taught us, of the highly successful drug linchpin? Because Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad had a Volvo estate.
Yeah.
It's a low-profile car.
Very.
Nobody's going to bust you and ask to see if there's any cocaine in the well under the boot. And you go, no, my friend, that's got the optional rear-facing seats under there. There's certainly no drugs.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. But Pablo's men, on the other hand, of which there was a lot, they all drove around in a new for the era Nissan Patrols and Toyota Land Cruisers, and that actually spiked interest in the DEA.
Yes.
Because they were like, no one in the whole area can afford those brand new 4x4s apart from dodgy bastards.
Yeah, it's true.
Who were wearing dog shit coloured leather jackets, it seems. There was a lot of those. A lot of those.
It feels like the costume department for Narcos really just had to go down to their local covered market and clean them out of chunky knits and low-quality leather jackets. Job done. You're right there, John.
You bastard. Just inhaled that beer. So true. And on the socks which just say sport on them.
Look what I'm wearing today.
Yeah, no, there they are. There. You've got Escobar socks on, Escobar henchman socks.
I've only got one pair of these socks and I keep them for special occasions, but I keep thinking I should buy some more. In fact, I bought them from a rural Welsh supermarket and I was in that very supermarket the other day.
Can you buy another pack?
And I forgot to look for them.
Oh.
Gosh darn it.
Spout.
But I'm going back soon, so I might have a little look.
Have a tickle.
They're actually quite good socks.
Are they?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how what the benchmark is for goodness in socks, but I'm going to say they're good socks. I've just written an article for a new magazine that is coming out very soon called Copacetic, which is sort of about car modifying, but in a very sort of thoughtful, high-end way. It's going to be a quarterly magazine, very beautiful, high production values. And they asked me if I would write a feature about the origins of NASCAR in moonshine running.
Brilliant.
And so I did a load of research on it. And one of the things about that was how important in the early 1930, no, 30s. I don't know what 30s voice is. That is. In the 30s, when the Ford Pilot V8 came out, because up until then, big, powerful V8 engines had only been in sort of fancy Cadillacs and Lincolns. And the trouble is, if you live in a rural county in the southern United States and you were rolling around in one of those, you are, same as the Narcos guys and their patrols, you're attracting attention. No one around here can afford one of those. But everybody's got a Ford. And so the Ford Pilot was suddenly like this, it really liberated the bootleggers to get a nice, powerful car that didn't attract attention. But they would still tune them up. And one of the things they would do is fit twin exhaust, but they would saw off the second exhaust halfway down the car so you couldn't see it. And it looked standard from the outside.
Love that.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Love it.
Anyway, go and buy Copacetic when it comes out because the full story is in there. I'm plugging other people's stuff.
That was
now.
good. Nice bit of plugging there.
Were you still going to talk about Narcos? Sorry.
No, I was going to talk about Tiff Nadell and Gogglebox, actually, but we can come on to that. It's fine. Just thought I'd throw that one in there. I don't go on Elon Musk's Twitter much these days because there's a bit of a bin fire. But I know Tiff does. And every time there's any kind of Formula One race, there's a lot of squawking. And someone actually said, Tiff, why are you bothering to watch Formula One? All you're ever saying is it's not as good as it should be, and it's not as good as it was. And I realised that they're missing a trick here. I mean, I watch Gogglebox, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't watch Formula One because I'm just not bothered about it. But I would watch Tiff's version of Formula One through Tiff's eyes. So I'd like to let him watch it, and I'm watching Tiff watching it.
You're giving him an idea here. This is brilliant.
He won't do it because it requires some effort. But
no, but you could just get the same sort of rig they have for Gogglebox, which is very discreet because they just sort of stick it in the corner room behind the telly. I mean, that's the whole point. Rig Tiff's living room.
Right, don't tell him. Don't tell him.
And then we'll just get celebrity guests.
Yeah.
Because he'll just get some mate down. He's go, okay, it's Matt Neal this week.
Oh, yeah.
And they can drink some wine. In fact, tell you what, if it's an afternoon race, they'll have a Sunday roast first. So they're quite bilious, and one of them will drop off if it's a boring race.
No, Tiff
that's
won't.
part of the show. No, Tiff won't.
No. He'll have a couple of dirty margaritas or something as well, just to pep him up a bit.
But I was going to say, also, if you wanted a sort of spin-off comedy show, Tiff has to make the Sunday roast. Because he'd have simply no idea what anything in the kitchen does, including the oven.
I think Tiff should also have the FIA rulebook, which is probably quite a thick volume, tucked under his arm whilst he's watching it. So he's probably got about 80 Post-its stuffed into all different pages, and he'll just go, no! Quickly.
Think you're fine. But that's the thing, I don't think he likes the rules. He wants it to be more freestyle, doesn't he?
He does. He does.
Yeah. Okay. Tiff Gogglebox F1.
I think we, Smith and Sniff, should fund some covert cameras in his television room. I don't know how many televisions he's got or how many rooms, but I think we should.
Tiff's been in this industry for a long time. His house is nice.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been to Tiff's house, but I imagine it's nice.
Yeah.
He's got one of those rooms that's sort of like just for watching telly in.
Yes.
That's not the sitting room.
And it's not a conservatory because there's too much reflection from the television.
Because he wouldn't like Wicker because it's not torsionally rigid.
Oh, he'd hate it.
I stiffen it up at the front end. It's no good.
Oh. He'd have a version that looked like Wicker, but it'd be composite. And he'd have it airbrushed in a Wicker hue.
Carbon Wicker.
Yeah, exactly. He'd speak to a couple
brainstorm the name a bit more, but
he'd speak to a couple of the previous winners of the Wicker Constructors Championship and get them to put together a number like yours.
In a way, though, Wicker's quite appealing for motorsport people because on the plus side, it is light.
Oh, Gordon Murray would like it.
Do you think Gordon Murray is all Wicker?
Gordon Murray's rule of thumb is I need to be able to carry all 4 kitchen chairs in one hand with a straight arm, comfortably.
Has he got
Without
a Wicker?
grimacing a little bit and pretending it's not that heavy. It genuinely isn't that heavy, look.
He's got a Wicker bed.
I'll have a Wicker bed.
So noisy, though, every time you roll over. And also so flexible, like you're going to fall out of bed.
Oh, yeah, the body roll.
Terrible.
No, you don't want that.
Okay. Anyway, Robocop. You're not allowed to call your kids that in Australia either. It's on the list.
You're allowed to call them what?
Robocop. Or Medicare.
Medicare?
Medicare. Not sure I'd want to.
Robocop?
Anyway, moving on. We briefly mentioned Volvo Estates.
Yeah.
And this leads me neatly onto dentistry. Because we mentioned in the last podcast...
Yes. About dentist car parks
dentist
being
car
compromised.
parks. We've had quite a lot of correspondence about that. But we've also had a lot of people writing in and saying their dentist did not have a Volvo or Saab.
But what did they have?
Well, I don't know. We've just had emails from liars, clearly. A chap called Alistair said, my local dentist has an F8 Tributo.
What?
Bullshit. Pete in Pennsylvania says when he was a kid, his school bus used to go past a dentist who had a VW Westphalia and a Ferrari 308 GTS. Someone else's car, Pete. A guy called Tim moved to a new dentist in Leeds in the late 80s, and there were two dentists working there who had matching Alpina C2 2.7s. He says, when I say matching, I mean the number plates were one number apart, both on a D-reg and both in the same colour, brackets, I think, sapphire black, code 475.
Oh, yeah.
That's deep Beamer knowledge. However...
He only thought, though, he wasn't sure.
I'm sorry, Tim, those were not dentist cars. Another listener on YouTube, Toyman, he's calling himself, said, in 1979, my dentist had a Beta Monte Carlo. Now, come on. The Volvo 245 was well on sale by then. That's not possible.
But also, he was constantly out there pointing at the Lancia and saying, you've got to brush your teeth properly because you're just rotting everywhere. So much rot around the gums and around the base.
I'd love to be able to turn it back on a dentist and go, have you been flossing this Lancia? Because there's a lot of build-up of...
Oh.
Well, actually, there's a lot of metal missing. Another listener, Ian Frank,
rubbing
says...
cola on the arches again.
Well, the sugar might help to protect it, because God knows Lancia didn't. Ian Frank says, when I was a kid, my dentist had a Bentley blower.
Oh, wow. Mm. How many years ago was this?
I don't know. Yes, that is. John Timney, who's a patron of ours, says, my childhood dentist had a Sierra XR4i in white, then a Sierra RS4 500 Cosworth, also white, and then a G-Series 911 with a whale tail. You can guess the colour. I don't believe any of this.
That's very cool.
But my favourite message was just, again, on YouTube, someone who's also called Jonny Smith, but with an H, just left a comment, back to our original point, that just said, my dentist's car park is extremely compromised.
By the way, it wasn't me. I didn't write that myself. It's true, though.
It is true.
Talking of compromised, a very tight staircase going down to the toilets here. It's a good toilet, but, you know, the journey to get there. And there's quite a tight right-hander.
Yeah.
And I've been there twice in the last few hours. I won't talk about that, but what I will talk about is the fact that I've noticed there's a stairway etiquette that is misunderstood. Like, in the UK, we drive on the left, okay? So as a pedestrian, I walk on the left, on a path.
Yes.
I don't know whether this show has a lot of foreign visitors. But on the staircase, I was on the left, and people kept coming up on the right. It doesn't work on the right. Well, basically, they were driving at me, walking at me.
Is it spiral? Like, is there a narrower bit of step and a wider bit? Because it's curving. There must be.
Yeah, there's an apex.
Okay. See,
I tried to clip it if there was no one there.
Does the etiquette change? But I can't figure out why. It's like, you know, if you're on a narrow road, but there's a very steep downhill or uphill.
Yeah.
There's a sort of etiquette about who gives way, and it's based on, I can't remember what.
I don't know, but so can we all be...
Anyone know this, or have I just imagined it? That you're sort of supposed to give way coming downhill because... No, I think you're supposed to give way coming uphill because their brakes might be knackered. What?
That's right.
Give way to people coming up because they can't keep momentum.
Because
yes,
back in the old days...
It's an old... That's the thing, it's kind of old-fashioned thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So is it the same on stairs to toilets?
I think it would... Coming up, up should keep to the inside with the narrower step because you've got more...
Yeah.
Coming down, it's easy to slip off. The heel might let go.
Yes.
And you're tumbling.
Yeah.
Going up.
It's so true.
You've got more purchase somehow with the toes.
Does anybody walk on the right? Yes. Why?
Yes.
Why? Yeah. What? But
What? Sorry? what?
everyone at your work walks on the right. What's that all about?
You let them, because I think there's
wrong.
also, in some contexts, there's an old-fashioned chivalry thing where you take the curbside if a child or a young lady or something is coming the other way. But I mean, it feels a bit old-fashioned to say that now, because also if you're walking down the street,
Back in the old days when brakes were really bad on cars, and if someone had brake failure, they'd probably scrub a bit of speed off using people and curbs, and that could have grave consequences, as we all know.
I can't work this out now.
You just
no,
walk
I think
on
the
the
stairs
left.
is walk on the left.
You just walk on the left. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. If you're here in London, then there are a lot of people from overseas.
Yeah.
The pavements of London are quite chaotic because of that, because people are not sticking to. Everyone's got a different view on this.
But maybe listeners or people in the room from other countries, left-hand drive countries, do they walk on the right?
In America,
they
do
walk on the right.
Do they?
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
because of the left-hand driveness.
All right, problem solved.
This is fantastic, interesting, insightful chat, and I'll hear nothing on the otherwise on that side of things.
Panties. You're not allowed to call your kid that in Australia.
Did you just say panties?
Panties. It's on the list. So is cyanide.
Cyanide?
Yeah. And scrotum.
Show me. Prove it. Where is it?
Scrotum just above semen.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But spelt the naval way, weirdly.
Scrotum. That's ridiculous. Someone has really gone to town making that list.
Well, as we know, a lot of things in government take a long time. There's a lot of meetings and it moves slowly. Imagine the number of meetings they've had going, should we put scrotum on the list? Probably ought to. Wait a second, I went to school with a scrotum. He was a great guy. Let's not pick on the scrotums, blokes.
I'm not going to have any more children, but I was just thinking Scrotum Smith does sound quite good.
Scro. For short.
Oh, yeah, if he was a skater.
Yeah,
Or
Scro Smith.
Extreme sport athlete, he'd be a scro.
Representing the nation at skating, now an Olympic sport.
Yes.
Does brilliantly.
Very good.
Gets invited to the palace.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Sir Scrotum Smith.
Sir Scrotum Smith.
Sir Scrotum. And then eventually, Lord Scrotum of Lincolnshire.
Scrote.
Actually, scrote's not on the list, which, is sort of separate thing, but no, it's not there.
Could you call your child Bag? I'm just asking.
Bag is not on the banned list in Australia.
Interesting.
Bomb is,
Hey?
if you're looking in the B's. Yeah, bomb. Bomb, so
This is absurd.
there's a bomb in my bag.
Oh,
I'm just talking about my daughter.
Oh, gosh.
G-bang as well, which I looked at and I was like, G-bang? Oh, it's short for gang-bang. But gang-bang is not on the list, only G-bang.
G-Bang?
Well, I know Aussies love to abbreviate things, don't they?
Yes.
So, Bango, yeah, but my full name's G-bang.
Yeah. So, on that note, Rich, have you ever taken a catfish out of an aquarium?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever taken a catfish out of an aquarium? I have. And when you take them out,
I'm
they
going to
have
open this wine.
They've got like a set of moustaches, catfish, and they elongate the moustaches a little bit more when you take them out of water, like a panic move, I guess. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because I couldn't get to sleep the other night, so I watched a lot of Africa rally videos from the 70s, because that's just the way I roll. And I've run out of Iron Maiden live videos now. I've really done them all, and they've been around a long time. So I realised, those specialist rally flaps?
Oh, the very long ones?
No, the ones out of the front wings, the corners of the front wings. They look like the back of this chair. We'll take a picture of the chair for people that aren't in the room. And they're on the front corners of Africa rally cars. I think it's to stop.
Oh, yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, sort of netty things. Yeah.
I don't know what they are. Are they to stop like goats from running in the way? Or is it to push the dust in a different direction? But they look like a catfish that's been taken out of water. Could be an aquarium or in the wild.
Do you have a catfish?
I did. I've had several.
Oh.
Yeah. And I heard yeah. And I heard an interview with Miley Cyrus this week, and she's got a pufferfish. I used to have a pufferfish, so me and Miley have got stuff in common, which is nice.
And you like wrecking balls, so...
Oh, no, I don't. I think they're a really shit way to knock stuff down. They're just...
Well, they don't use them anymore, do they?
No, because they're shit.
Miley does, obviously. Well, she
has.
Yeah, she comes in like a wrecking ball.
She does, yeah. But if I came in like a wrecking ball, it'd be easy to dodge, because they're so clumsy and stupid.
That's true, actually. But it would really fuck up your sitting room, so it kind of swings and roundabouts. There's a good reason not to invite Miley round to look at your pufferfish.
Yeah.
How are you getting here, Miley? Do you want a cab from the station? Or, no, it's all right. Bang! Oh, shit.
She just smashed straight through.
She's come in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a warning here in her top international hit.
But to her credit, she drives her own wrecking ball. You know those crane lorries which we see on the motorway going very slowly?
Yes.
They've got many wheels. I can't count them all. And the cab is right at the front.
How low is first gear on one of those?
So low.
I think it's like sort of 0.2 miles an hour per 1,000 revs, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they only rev to 2,500.
Oh, yeah. And the cabin always looks very small, even smaller than the original London black cab driving area.
Yes.
I might have talked about this on a podcast before. Have you ever driven an old London cab? Basically, whoever designed it went, the driver don't care. Passengers get all the space. Driver don't care. If you're more than about 5'3",
well, I think
brutal.
it's because when they were laying out the parameters, they invited some cabbies over, but they were all incredibly stocky, shaven-headed blokes from Essex, and they just went, well, that's cab drivers then. Didn't reckon on any of them being over 5'3". All right, mate. And they went, good, yeah. You comfortable? Yeah, not so bad. Can't complain. Mustn't grumble.
But they do. They
Same
will.
the Spurs.
They will complain. Oh, they will.
Well, obviously, but that's the thing. But it liberates them from complaining about their driving position, gives them plenty of time to complain about traffic and socialism.
The state of the country and all that.
Yes.
Talking of Essex blokes, slightly related, out on that lawn off of the London Concours, there's a Ford Capri.
Oh, my God.
In fact, I think there's two, but...
Have you seen the Capri on the far side? Anyone here seen the Capri, the dark blue Capri?
Yes.
Holy Mother of Jennifer.
Let's do this.
Which is actually on the banned list in Australia, but...
what Capri or Holy Mother?
Holy Mother... No, Christ. Christ is on the list of banned things.
Okay.
As is Jesus and Jesus Christ, all banned in Australia.
Fantastic.
But Capri, not on there.
Okay.
But no, that dark blue Capri with the X-Pack on it.
I know. It is X-Pack.
Tennis racket headrests.
Oh, swollen arches.
I don't really have anything to add to that. I just thought it was a really, really cool car.
Well, every time... you don't see the X-Pack very often. I know it's a rare optional set of extras. I kind of look... Because it's quite a jingle-jangle car and quite Essex, obviously. I always think of it as being the Capri X-Pat, not X-Pack.
Oh. Well,
you know,
it's just eating egg and chips on a very hot day in Spain.
I like you, even though you're foreign. I like you. There's a bit of that.
There's a little bit of bacon, a bit of sausage, a bit of egg, a bit of beans. This is tapas, all right?
It's all in small bowls.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything that you like.
But it
Just
is.
none of that foreign muck.
That Capri X-Pack out there is glorious.
I mean, that's the thing. It's the only one left in Britain because the rest of them are retired to Spain.
They have. Yeah. They love it out there. It's just a shame they don't speak English out there. I had to come back because they don't speak English. Yeah. There's always a bit of that going on.
Yeah.
On that side of things.
Can I ask a question of you?
Me?
Well, of anyone here, really.
Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Is it just me, if you're on social media, particularly on Instagram, is anyone else being relentlessly served an advert for Jenson Button's trousers? Yes. What's going on? Why is Jenson Button hawking trousers so aggressively on social media?
What?
Have you not seen this?
Does he sell trousers?
Like, I'm only on Instagram like once a week, and I can't go on Instagram now because I've had enough of Jenson Button's trousers.
JBT?
JBT. All I can think is, because, racing drivers have endorsed some slightly strange things over the years, but all I can think is that Jenson Button went into his management's office and went, I want something that feels it has integrity to me. What's got buttons on it? And they've got, I don't know, home stereo. No one's got a home stereo like that anymore. Come up with something else. I don't know. Trousers? Yes! Everyone likes trousers. Men, women, children, they all wear trousers. Get me a trouser deal. And now every time I go on Instagram,
I've not
it's
seen
just
this.
Jenson Button selling trousers.
Hang on. Motorway services.
Well, that's the next leap, surely.
He spotted a gap in the market. There are desperate people who might need trousers in quite a rare set of circumstances. Yeah.
And you'd walk into the motorway services, it's a car-y sort of environment. You see a life-size cutout of Jenson Button, and you go, there's a name to trust in trousers.
Yeah. Has anybody bought a pair of button trousers? No.
I mean, I assume they have a button fly.
You've bought a pair of Jenson's trousers?
Have you really?
You
saw them in Italy?
What, being worn by anybody or just in a shop? Were they really
Seriously?
expensive? I think, we could get to Jenson between us.
We have. I mean, we've met him.
We've
haven't
met
we?
him.
Nice guy.
Yes.
One might say an SSG.
He was an SSG.
An SSG in his own brand tees.
Yeah, we should ask if we can road test a pair of his trousers.
I
had a lentil dal the other day, 10 minutes before going to the gym. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
That was not a great idea. I very nearly might have had to have given Jenson a call.
I had 3 cups of coffee this morning and then walked to the station listening to 90s rave classics.
Oh.
Let me tell you, it was quite clammy and urgent. And that would be a good test of the Jenson Button trouser, the JBT, as we're now going to call it.
Does he have the sort of GT trouser and then the more sprint trouser, for short, sharp, time attack trouser?
And a touring trouser.
A touring, exactly.
Slightly looser, no downforce, but...
Exactly.
I don't know.
Actually,
because
no.
I've never clicked on the ad because it's sort of, I'm a bit like, I just don't get this. But have you ever bought anything that's been relentlessly served to you on social media, particularly Instagram? I bought some shoes and the ad kept being served to me and there's no way of going, I've bought them, leave me alone. I acquiesce to your demands. So even if we got Jenson to send us some free trousers.
Hang on, I've just realised Mark Webber sells clothes as well.
Does he?
Yeah, Mark Webber's got his own clothing brand.
What sort of clothes?
I think it's called True Grit, and it's sort of active workout and outdoorsy wear. But
is it upper body then? So Jenson spotted a gap in the market, and the gap was the trouser, because of course there's Thierry boots and socks. And
I'm just thinking now, Button also knows that his friend Coulthard loves a Superleggera trouser.
Oh my God. Does he ever?
That ends a bit early. So he's gone, right, Coulthard, he can road test a pair of the Monaco Wealth Superleggera trouser.
It's a Monaco Wealth trouser, isn't it? Because that Coulthard likes, because it leaves a bit of a gap. It's almost to show you're not wearing socks.
It's
with
to
the deck shoes, but maybe it's a cooling thing.
I think it could be to radiate the brakes, or, to just let them... Yeah.
Has David Coulthard got air-cooled legs?
Most definitely.
Like an old 911?
Yeah, definitely. And he'll have a Venturi flap somewhere at the back, so if he's walking really quick, get a bit of through air. Groin to back end or something, I don't know. Oh no, the pockets. He's got completely open pockets.
But with sort of fins on them to crease.
So you can't put your phone or your money in
the thing,
your
he's at a Grand Prix in somewhere, Singapore or somewhere, very humid.
Oh.
And you go, have you not got, in those very tight jeans there, David, have you not got sweaty legs? And he goes, no, my legs can't sweat, they're air-cooled.
Yeah.
No liquid.
Oh, he's got active ducting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the button trousers are a bit like my trousers I'm wearing today. They're basically of the chinoise style. I feel like I have got to buy a pair now. I don't even know how much they are. They could be like £1 million a pair.
We're going to be buying some
made of pure F1 stuff.
I'd like to think they're made in Somerset, but we'll find that out, won't we?
I guess so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously, if anyone beats us to the jump and buys some... We're also now essentially advertising Jenson Button's trousers.
That's ridiculous.
All right. Well, anyway, button trousers.
Well, so I was going to talk about something else. Oh, yeah. While we were out there looking at the expat Capri,
Yes.
on the way back, when we were doing that little chit-chat interview thing, we were stood next to a Bugatti Veyron. And we've talked about them before. You know, they're 20 years old this year, which is just a bit scary. And also, they're quite small, much smaller than I thought they would be. But I started to suddenly refer to them as a Ron.
Oh, yes.
Why would I do that? That's an idiotic...
You turned to me and went, look at that Ron there.
Yeah, I did. Is that a dick move,
briefly
as Americans
confused.
would say? Yeah, I called it a Ron. Is it okay to call it a Ron now that it's 20 years old plus?
Well, you think that you've known it for 20 years so you can get a bit familiar?
Yeah, it's been around a while now, so it's a part of the community.
I don't know, but
It's
then
just Ron over there.
if you're going down that path, is this not a bit dangerous?
What, calling a Veyron a Ron?
You're just going to start abbreviating everything, like an Australian.
Oh, no.
I've got a Ford Mondi.
No.
Oh, Mondi, you came and you gave without taking. And then your rear bumper cracked and I had to fix it with gaffer tape.
Well, I also realise I'm pretty sure the Spanish for rum, the drink, is Ron. And also, obviously, the strength of petrol is also Ron.
It's quite confusing if you're in Spain. 97 rum?
Yes, exactly. They just run cars on rum over there. It's a fantastic idea.
Unless you're
love a
an expat,
rum.
in which case you just run it on carling.
Got quite into dark rum of late.
Really?
Yeah,
Dark rum.
dark rum. I went for a health/booze drink idea the other week. Sorry, I've gone off piste a little bit. I thought I want it to be good for me, but also boozy and a little bit potent. So I went for some dark rum, fairly serious measure, like American measure, you know.
Oh, free pour.
Yeah, free pour, not making eye contact. And then I put in coconut water, which normally I think tastes like shit, but I know it's really good for you. So I thought, I'll put it with rum. Let's see what happens. And then I squeezed 2 limes into it and then dropped them in.
Okay.
And then a tiny bit of that lime cordial that's ever so powerful. You've got to be careful with it.
It's really powerful, isn't it?
It makes your eyelids flicker a little bit, you know?
I didn't tell you about when the day that our kids went absolutely batshit. They were bouncing off the walls.
Did they have lime cordial?
It was a bit worse than that. My wife, for some reason, had been in, I think, a Tesco, and she'd bought some cordial, not lime cordial, just like a sort of blackcurrant and apple cordial.
Not fruit shoot.
Maybe an American friend over here, hi Andy, could you vouch for this, that America is not big on cordial? No. Andy confirms this.
No, see, I think the cordial industry has been killed and buried, and there's no knowledge of it at all.
And yeah, well, that's a funny thing, isn't it?
You basically pour a tiny amount in and dilute it.
Still a thriving thing, but maybe it's premix now. You just get premix, like screen wash. Ribena is like screen wash. They've moved to the premix.
Yeah.
They know we're all a bit lazy these days.
Yeah.
But so my wife is American, and she didn't really know what cordial was, and so she gave, when she got back from the supermarket, our children 2 hearty glasses of neat cordial.
No, she didn't.
And they went absolutely frigging nuts.
Neat cordial.
Neat cordial. Thick, treacly cordial.
They would have been licking their lips like Sean Ryder from Happy Mondays. And Bez with his tambourine or shakers or whatever they are. Been off their boxes.
The worrying thing was they discovered a taste for this, and then they sort of became the Pablo Escobars of their school, fencing neat cordial to their friends. I only found out when I caught one of them trying to go to school in a Volvo 240 pedal car.
Has your son suddenly decided that it's quite cool for a 10-year-old lad to wear a cable knit jumper?
That's what it was.
Sensible trousers.
It was the intricate knot design that gave it away.
Do you want to wear like a Nike tracksuit like your mates? No, not interested. Want to wear a really dowdy jumper, please. Keep it on the down low. Yeah.
What were we talking about?
I've got no frigging idea. Cordial. I don't know how that started.
Well,
I know. It's because I was doing that health drink that was also boozy.
Oh, yes.
I'd like anyone to try
run me
it.
through the ingredients again. It's got
Dark
rum.
Right. Coconut water, which is weirdly expensive.
Yes.
a lot of coconut water, 2 whole limes squeezed in, and then some of that lime cordial stuff that cocktail people use. And just for a second, I thought I was Brian Brown when I was putting all this shit together.
Who's Brian Brown?
Australian actor.
Yeah, but you know his real name is Panties. It's just the government stepped in and said no.
What, Panties Brown?
Yes.
Right, okay.
I'm joking.
Well,
of course, it's scrotum.
So,
You should see a doctor about scrotum brown, by the way. Come on, guys. Check it out.
so it actually tasted really good, and I made it for a couple of other friends of mine. I think I might patent this. I think it's a worthy cocktail, unless I'm about to find out that it's existed for ages and I'm just being thoughtless. It's really good. I highly recommend it, but not to children. But then again, I'd probably rather give my children that than totally neat cordial.
I'll get home and find my wife's given my kids 2 glasses of it.
Unbelievable.
Sorry, we don't have this in America. I didn't know what it was. I wanted to bring up something with Hugh, Mr. Smith, because you went on the launch of the new Renault 4.
Yeah, for sure. I saw a poo on the ground on a cliff. Someone had a... I put it on our Instagram because I was a little bit appalled. We'd spent a little while scoping out the right area to do my intro, and we didn't have a lot of time. And I actually forgot to tell you, I'm sorry to steal your conversation for a second. I was actually feeling really rough, and I fell asleep in a lay-by on the way to reviewing the Renault 4.
Right.
I came out of the airport feeling quite unwell. I had to be hand-fed some foreign crisps by my videographer. I can't make this shit up.
Trying to revive
I felt so rough.
I just left a little
4.
bowl of crisps in front of his face.
They greeted me at the airport in the sort of underground car park with the Renault 4 keys, and they were like, and here's the route you're going to take. Do you want me to walk you around it? I went, no, just take it. I was feeling that close to chundering. I went, just get the car, go, get out. And I drove for about 15 miles and then just said to Phil, the videographer, I'm going to have to pull over and lie down. So I pulled over at a lay-by with a very creepy-looking fuel station, and I just got the seat and I just went... And apparently I fell asleep looking dead. And he took a photo of me that he's got somewhere. And that was the start of my Renault 4 experience.
Did you know, I didn't know whether this was mentioned on the launch. Thank you to a listener called Oliver Blake for spotting this.
Yeah.
Do you know what the alloy wheels on the base and mid-trim levels are called on the Renault 4?
Base and... No.
You know, like car manufacturers always give alloy wheels names these days. I mean, some don't. On BMW and people, Land Rover don't. But...
Yes. That's true. And they can't sell those alloys in Australia. It's really sad.
It's weird.
The Australians love a rugged Renault. It's a real shame.
No, of course not. They're French. The alloy wheels are called Panties. No, they're not really. No, genuinely, the alloy wheel style on the... There's 3 trim levels of a Renault 4, and the bottom and the middle one, the alloy wheels are the same, and they are called 60s.
Are they really?
Yeah.
60s?
And I couldn't believe that. I was a bit like, oh shit. I guess if you'd noticed that on the launch, you would have probably exploded with delight.
I think the Renault 4 is a grower, not a shower.
I think so.
I've decided that after a few weeks of pondering it.
The alloys on the top model, by the way, are called Parisienne.
Are they?
Yeah. Which reminded me, the stupid alloy wheel names. The Mark 7 Golf GTI and the Mark 6 Polo GTI were available with a style of alloy which, at Volkswagen head office in Germany, they decided to call Milton Keynes.
What?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Presumably because the offside one was really worn because of all the roundabouts. Yeah. And Volkswagen UK very wisely went, guys, that was it. No, don't worry, we've got this. And they were renamed Parker over here, which is, there's a man there nodding, VW knowledge. Although Parker is a weird name for an alloy wheel because sounds like something that's going to get curbed.
The whole thing's just weird.
Yeah.
Milton Keynes.
Because, you know, there's like a lot of VW alloys are named after places and you're sort of Interlagos and stuff like that. And
Bulldog Services, that was a good set.
Yeah,
it's my favourite set. On the old, what was it, the Up GTI?
Yeah. I think the E-Up, the wheels were called Jesus Christ.
No.
Except in Australia, where that was banned.
Yeah. They were called something else in Australia, I'm sure, like twat face.
Bonghead, actually. But I was wondering, I didn't have time to look into this any further. I wondered if anyone else knew of any really stupid names for factory alloys.
No,
good.
Knows,
okay.
no.
Anyway, in Australia, you can't call your baby marijuana. That's a true fact as well.
That is really sad.
But you can call your alloy wheel that if you really want to.
Hang on, they're banning marijuana as a
Nissan
name
Leaf.
for a child. But what about? Could you call them? I don't know, LSD, ecstasy.
Let me
is
check
ecstasy
the list.
Banned?
Let's have a look.
So I could have a daughter called Ecstasy.
The only E name on the list is Emperor.
Emperor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bad news for penguins. But no, drugs-wise, there's not a lot. Marijuana is banned, but I can't see anything else that's very... And obviously bonghead,
Well, yeah.
obviously.
We keep going back to that one, yeah. It's a good
But
point.
no, there's not. So, I mean, if you wanted to call your daughter Freebase or something, I think you're allowed.
What about Spam Javelin or...
Let me see. Spam...
DSG Trombone? They go, yeah, it seems fine with me.
No.
Go along.
I'm looking at the S's and no, Spam Javelin is not here.
Okay.
Smelly is.
Smelly.
Smelly.
Why would you call your own child smelly?
Well, also, obviously, if the child's got siblings, that's the siblings' job to call them smelly, whether they like it or not. I mean...
What about 60s?
No, 60s is not on the list.
So stupid.
Virgin is.
Virgins?
Bad news for Richard Branson. But no, 60s is not on here. Sister is.
Sister.
You can't call your kid sister. I don't really understand why.
The list...
Ecclesiastical, yes, probably.
It is
because of the
ecclesiastical
nuns.
spec.
And sir.
Right.
Because I suppose you... Well, yeah, I get that, because they still have knights. Actually, do they have knights in Australia anymore? I don't know. Because Canada, they stopped... The Canadian government went to the Queen at the time, in the 80s, can you stop knighting people here, please?
What, because it's too complicated for paperwork?
Oh, yeah, paperwork, maybe. I don't know. So, I don't know if this is true, but this is claimed by Sir Graham Day, the man, Canadian man, who ran Rover Group in the 80s, used to claim he was the last Canadian to be knighted.
And that's why you turned up today. Not to see a Bugatti EB110 out there, which, by the way, I've written down. You know the E is backwards on the logo of Bugatti?
Yeah.
I keep thinking about EB and B as being a Bugatti thing. You could have your own Bugatti and breakfast events, and it'd be fantastic. I'd love that.
What?
EB and B.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. You just borrow a Bugatti.
Or just E and B.
E and B.
No, hang on, that's ecstasy and breakfast.
Yes.
You're probably not going to want the breakfast. That's
Banned
a bit
in
of a waste
Australia.
of time.
It's fine everywhere else, but not in Australia.
No.
Ecstasy
Well, no, apparently
and
it is.
Ecstasy, Bugattis and breakfast. Can you imagine the absolute carnage? Make Cars and Coffee look like a bloody toddler group. You'd have a Mustang club turn up with anything under 800 horsepower doesn't get in. And they're like, guys, we're all going to be leaving in a minute. You'd be like, shit off. Yeah, but what about the Ecstasy Bugatti boys over there? Oh, yeah, they're all biting one another's lips and telling one another how much they love you, man. It's fine. They'll be there a while. Oh, yeah, they're also staying for another 2 days because no one can find how to get into the car. It's all fine. It's all just fine.
Sorry, there's a bit of a housekeeping question here because
Yeah.
I forgot to set a timer. Lisa, have we been going on for about 2 hours now?
Shit. Fine.
Fine. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, right. Whatever, man.
Got to
Whatever.
check my notes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, before we go, we've got 3 things to tell you. The first one is that Johnny's engaged in a very strange project to force the former lead singer of Marillion to get into a tiny 3/4 scale rubber suit that will make him look like a mustachioed British rally driver from the 70s and 80s, under the working title of Big Fish in a Small Pond.
It gets worse and worse and worse and worse.
It's only spiralling downwards. If that's not to your taste, there's the Late Break Show. A second thing I have to say is a thank you to the London Concours and everyone who helped organise this show. Thank you to Lisa at the back there who keeps us organised, and some of you may have met on our merchandise stand.
Yeah.
And a massive thank you to all of you here in the room for coming out to see us. I hope it wasn't too traumatic.
Yeah, thank you. And to express my thanks, I'm going to do an impression of Donald Duck if he was a 2JZ. I caught my son doing this the other night whilst gaming, and I thought it was so hilarious. I tried to record so I could play it back, but he saw me and stopped. I know, it's so annoying, isn't it? The Donald Duck 2JZ. Yeah, Disney will have that. They're bastards, Disney. No, they're not bastards if we're still recording. They're fine.
There goes that 10-part Smith and Sniff.
Damn it.
Streaming series. A third thing I was going to tell you is we're here in leafy London. If you moved London on the same line of latitude over to North America, whereabouts in the United States do you imagine it would be? Like, what city would it be near?
Montana?
Someone down there said Canada, which is absolutely right. It would be near Calgary in Canada. Yeah. We're weirdly far north. Like, London is well clear of the US.
Wow, I did not know that.
We're into Canada, which is a bonus, really. All right, well, anyway, that's enough of this for now, but thank you ever so much for coming out. Thank you for listening at home. We'll do this all again soon. Until then, goodbye.
Bye, please.
So you've enjoyed this podcast, but you've had a thought. Is there a way here today that you could show support? Well, you could join our Patreon. What wonders that it brings. Early shows and extra notes on that side of things. You could buy our merchandise. We've mugs and hats, but still no ties. One day we will make those pies, but in the meantime, guys, hey guys, like and subscribe, and maybe leave a nice review. Like and subscribe, we know you know just what to do. Like and subscribe, we don't want to take the piss. Like and subscribe, but we were told to ask for this. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
He's a cowboy. On a steel horse he rides.